Hello, and thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching The Noon. I'm Marielle Liu. Lee Thomas here as well.
Yeah, a lot happening over the last 24 hours. And we start right into the situation that everyone is talking about. I was grabbing, wire copying, reading all of the things that are coming out, and just quotes are standing out to me, situations are standing out to me. But the biggest is that this is not new. Parkland is, the anniversary of Parkland is today. We're talking about, close to home. So let's begin with the latest in the situation at Michigan State University. 3 people have been killed and 5 others are hurt. All 5 are in critical condition. The victims are from Michigan State University. They are students or, I believe, faculty. The gunman, he is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, identified as 43-year-old Anthony McCray.
So as of right now, the identities of the victims are not being made public. The Michigan State campus closed today and tomorrow. This includes all campus-related activities. So the investigation is still ongoing at this hour. Probably that will continue for much of the day today. MSU police asking for the public's help for tips in this case, and if you have any information that you think could be valuable, call 844-99-MSU-PD. 844-99-MSU-PD if you have any information that can help.
Yeah, and it is that information that helped them to track the suspect who became a self-inflicted gunshot wound, who is the perpetrator. But those tips are still coming in. There's still going to be an investigation. We still don't know the condition of so much.
One of the interesting things I thought, which again, just kind of pointing to how often this happens, which is not a good thing, is how many people were listening to police scanners themselves. Yeah. An app, which is a great feature to have in Michigan State University, and parents were able to tap into and hear in real time the police chatter and try and understand what was happening, trying to get a greater sense of what happened. That's the fact that we have to do that in itself it's mind-boggling. As
I was reading through the information this morning, there are some specific things that stand out to me. One young man said he and a friend broke a window after 30 seconds of silence, climbed out the window, then helped others to get out. The other thing, a quote from a young lady with her backpack and phone. I picked up my backpack and phone and, quote, I just ran for my life. Another one, a girl walks into the dorm, hands were completely covered with blood. We're talking about a traumatic situation for our community and for our kids to deal with at Michigan State University.
Injuries that you can't see.
Yeah.
That trauma sticks around, certainly. As this investigation continues, new details are emerging about both the victims and the accused shooter.
Fox 2's Brandon Hudson joins us live from East Lansing with the very latest. Brandon, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Lee, Marielle, good afternoon. So we are right across from the union, the student union, which is the second of those 2 shooting locations. We did move down a bit to one of the entrance points on campus. So state police, this was an Ingham County Sheriff's Deputy SUV, but now state police are here to relieve that law enforcement officer. You can see them kind of get out of their car there. But we have seen groups of students, even though there is no class here for the next 48 hours, we did see groups of students. We do see them walking around, but after talking with one 4th-year student less than an hour ago, it is largely quiet. You have a campus of 45,000 students, and this is, it's eerily quiet out here. And the student that we spoke to said he hasn't seen anything like this since COVID a couple of years ago. That's how quiet it is right now. So we are a couple blocks down from Berkey Hall, which is the classroom where that first shooting happened. That is where we were able to get some more information from Jessica Dubnak last hour about the shooter, 43-year-old Anthony McCray. No connection to the university at all. He comes here on campus, and again, this is a large campus, but we are in the northeast side of campus, comes over there. In the process, in total, shoots 8 people, kills 3 students. And this is a very somber day here on campus. Outside of the traffic, not a lot of action going on. We did see people carrying things, but again, we also want to mention that this is Valentine's Day, so this is normally a day that people would be celebrating. People would probably be here at the Union celebrating, be on campus celebrating, but it is quite the opposite. And a lot of people have either gone home or they are trying to debrief, decompress with their friends, with their loved ones. But this isn't just anything that is hurting the people here on campus, not the students, not just the educators, but this also hits a lot of people, including Governor Gretchen Whitmer, including Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin. We did hear from them in the hour since the shooting, and I want you to listen to what they have to say.
We would like to sincerely thank our community for their help. Because of our quick release of the photograph from the campus security cameras and the help from our community, it was a caller's tip that led law enforcement to that suspect in the city of Lansing. We cannot thank the public and the community and the person who called in that report enough for being observant, for following our messaging, and for being vigilant and contacting us immediately.
All right, so that was the police chief that you heard from. And just like we told you that elected officials were taking this hard, the police chiefs have also taken this to heart, and this has hit them close to home because this is the community that they serve. And this is the area where they know some of these students. They come in contact with a lot of these young people, a lot of these adults, these educators as well. So to see that happen to a lot of people that they have a somewhat of a connection to, whether directly or indirectly, you can understand the gravity of this situation here. I'll send it back to you, Mario and Lee, in the studio. Oh, let's, excuse me, before we do that, let's send it over to Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
We're all broken by an all too familiar feeling. Another place that is supposed to be about community and togetherness, shattered by bullets and bloodshed. And looking back at a year marked by shootings at grocery stores, parades, and so many other ordinary, everyday situations, we cannot keep living like this.
As the representative of Oxford, Michigan, I cannot believe that I am here again doing this 15 months later. And I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools. And I would say that you either care about protecting kids or you don't. You either care about having an open and honest conversation about what is going on in our society or you don't. But please don't tell me you care about the safety of children if you're not willing to have a conversation about keeping them safe in a place that should be a sanctuary.
So that is Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, echoing a lot of sentiments that we hear from lawmakers, especially ones here from Michigan, who are fed up with the lack of gun reform and gun control in this country. And they believe that that has led to shootings like this, like the one we saw last night, where 8 students were shot. 3 were killed. That is 3 students who will not return home to their parents. And as we learn more about these students who were killed, we hope to learn more about their goals, their aspirations, what they were doing here at the university, and just the kind of people they are overall. But again, we are still waiting to get that information. I know that law enforcement has to notify the next of kin before we can continue with that process there. So stay tuned with Fox 2 on air and online as we get those bits of information and we share them with you. But again, finally, we will go back to you, Lee, and Mario in the studio.
Brandon, I do have one quick question. We saw some students walking behind you. Are students and parents connecting at this point?
So, yes and no. I talked to a couple of parents last night who were concerned about their students that were here on campus because, and I said this last hour, but the difference here with school shootings that happen at elementary schools and grade schools and high schools and at a college is when you're at a grade school or high school, parents, they can get to that school within minutes. Mm-hmm. There may be a lot of chaos, but they can get to that school in minutes. Here you have students who some live hours from home, so the only way they can get in contact with their kid is through a text or a phone call. The parents and the students that I have spoken to in the hour since this shooting, they have been able to reach out to their families and let them know that they are okay. We do see some adults that are walking around with students. So, and then again, we also have some students who left campus yesterday, and they've headed home because being here, and Mario said it has been a very traumatic few hours here, not 12 hours or so. This is probably one of those places where you don't want to be when you want to kind of, when you need some comfort and consolation. And if you live close enough to home, that's where you want to be. But to kind of answer your question, Lee, on the long and short of it, yes and no. And I know there are some parents that are still trying to, get in touch with their kid and get their kid home.
Brandon, I went to a much smaller university. When you're on campus and you see how large that campus is, how many buildings, that certainly puts into scale the undertaking that police had last night as they are searching this entire area looking for this gunman.
Yeah, and so to speak to that, when we spoke to a fourth-year student about an hour ago, I asked him, like, this is a big campus. I think it's 5,000 acres.
Wow.
There are a lot of entry points. I mean, we're just standing in front of one of several entry points. And to know that this guy was a 43-year-old man, had no connection that we know of yet to this campus, and he just got onto campus. The next step in this investigation, once the initial investigation is over with, is answering those questions about security. What do students want to see now to make sure that people don't just wander on campus and cause another tragedy?
Brandon Hudson, thank you very much for that live report. We'll be checking back with you periodically.